A single dad accepted his boss's swim bet. What he wanted after shocked her. Marcus had worked at Clearwater Solutions for 3 years without drawing much attention to himself. He arrived early, stayed late, never complained, and always delivered. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. His colleagues knew him as the quiet guy in the corner office, who kept a photo of his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, on his desk and never missed a parent-teacher conference. His boss, CEO Diana Reeves, respected his work but had never truly seen him. Not until the company retreat at Lake Harmon. It was supposed to be a weekend of team bonding, trust exercises, and motivational sessions. The lake behind the lodge was clear and still, framed by tall pines that caught the afternoon light. On the second evening, after dinner and a few glasses of wine, the mood turned playful. Someone suggested a swimming race across the lake and back. Diana laughed and pointed at Marcus, who was quietly sipping water near the dock. She had heard he swam occasionally, but she was a former collegiate swimmer who had trained competitively until her late 20s. She announced loudly, half joking, "I'll bet Marcus here can't beat me across and back. If he wins, I'll give him an extra week of paid vacation. If I win, he has to present next quarter's report in a Hawaiian shirt." The crowd erupted in laughter. People clapped. Someone started recording. Diana smiled confidently, expecting Marcus to laugh it off or decline politely. Instead, he set down his glass, looked at her calmly, and said, "All right, I accept." The laughter shifted into surprised murmurs. His colleague Jamie whispered, "Marcus, she was a competitive swimmer." He simply nodded and said, "I know." They lined up at the dock. Diana rolled her shoulders and stretched with the ease of someone who had done this 1,000 times. Marcus stood still, calm as the water below him. The night air was cool, and the lake surface caught the last threads of evening light. Someone counted down from 3, and they both jumped in. Diana surged ahead immediately. Her stroke was powerful and clean, each movement efficient and practiced. The onlookers on the dock began nodding as if the outcome was already decided. But then something changed. Halfway across the lake, Marcus found his rhythm. His stroke was different, longer, quieter, almost meditative, but the gap between them began to close. By the time they touched the far bank, Diana was only a body length ahead. On the return, Marcus moved through the water like he belonged there entirely. He was not fighting it, he was part of it. With 50 meters to go, he pulled even. With 20 meters left, he was ahead. He touched the dock first. The silence lasted exactly 2 seconds before the crowd exploded. People cheered and laughed in disbelief. Diana pulled herself out of the water, breathing harder than she had expected. She looked at him with a mixture of shock and genuine respect. She extended her hand and said, "You actually won. I didn't see that coming. What do you want? Name it, within reason." Everyone leaned in. Some expected him to ask for a promotion. Others thought he'd push for a bonus or a flexible schedule. His colleague Priya was already smiling in anticipation of whatever bold demand was coming. Marcus was quiet for a moment. He looked at Diana steadily and said, "I want every single parent on this team to be allowed one guaranteed no questions asked. Morning per month for school events, doctor visits, whatever their kid needs. No forms, no explanations, no guilt." Diana blinked. The crowd went very still. It was not at all what anyone expected. He was not asking for himself. He was not cashing in on a personal victory. He was using the only chip he had earned to make life slightly easier for every other parent, quietly struggling to balance work and raising children alone. Diana stared at him for a long moment and then nodded slowly. She said, "Done. I'll have it in policy by Monday." As people began to drift back toward the lodge, still talking about the race, Marcus sat on the edge of the dock alone for a moment. He pulled out his phone and texted Lily a goodnight message. She replied with 3 heart emojis and a drawing she had made of the 2 of them at the beach. He smiled and pocketed his phone. He had not won to prove something to Diana. He had not won to advance himself. He had won because the moment was there and someone needed to use it well. In a world that often mistakes loudness for strength and ambition for worth, Marcus was a quiet reminder that dignity does not announce itself. It simply shows up, does the work, and when given the chance, lifts others instead of climbing alone. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness True Stories, where we bring you powerful stories about real human strength, compassion, and the quiet heroes among us. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter.